Cool. Hi guys, my name's Adam. I'm part of the gaming team at War Child. We're an international charity that support children affected by war. We've actually been working in the game space for just over 10 years now, and in the mobile game space for just over 2 years. So we're best known for a gaming fundraiser that falls every November that's called Armistice, and basically we collaborate with war games to raise money for children affected by real-life war. So to date, we've raised $3 million from the games industry. We want to do lots more. We feel the games industry can do a lot more for good. But today we've actually got an awesome panel of people who are really leading the space when it comes for gaming for good. So, panelists, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name's Harriet Hughes. I'm the CMO at PlayStack, which is a London-based games publisher.
I'm Lisa, taking care of app monetization at Wooga, which is a casual story-driven games company based in Berlin.
Hi, I'm Amparo. I'm head of media buying at Social Point in Barcelona. I've been there for 5 years. We are a simulation game company.
And my name is John Paul Burke. I'm the country manager for UK, Ireland and Nordics. That's a long one. For Gameloft, we have been publishing games for the last 20 years. Hopefully you're all aware of who we are. And it's a pleasure to be here, gang, and part of this War Child panel.
Great, thanks for joining us. Yeah. So before we dive into the panel, just a couple of stats I wanted to share. So 87% of gamers feel that developers are perfectly placed to do more for charity, and 88% of consumers would buy from a company that supports charity. So those are two key stats to keep in mind as we dive in. Cool. So to get started, why are your companies supporting charities, and how do you select the charity that you support?
Okay, in Social Point case, we are family games, so we receive a lot of stories of grandparents that are closest to their grandchildren because of our games. We have a big percentage of disabled people playing our games. And last but not least, user acquisition efforts are unlimited. Mm-hmm. So we are always trying to find new ways of acquire. So it kind of made a lot of sense to move forward and find new audiences towards charity, and as a result we got a lot of new game users, reactivation of users, and an unexpected consequence is that people in Social Point is more engaged. Teams that work in these kind of features work harder on them, so it made a lot of sense. And how we choose them is the better ratio our users feed and user acquisition impact.
Cool. Anyone else?
For us, I guess really we have to kind of be thankful for the people that play our games. So our games, the games that we included in this Armistice event, we used War Planet Online and also March of Empires, and the audience just really resonated with what War Child was trying to achieve with it. So that's why we're working with War Child. I mean, we will be working with other charities as we move forward because of, you know, it's just a responsibility we feel that we have to give back, and yeah, why not? Our players are really keen on us doing it, so the more we can do, the better it's going to help everyone.
Cool. Yeah, we definitely see like games are partnering with charities that really align with the key theme of the charity. So for War Child, obviously war and conflict is one of the themes, but also like play, childhood and things like that. So any kind of game that's plays on the play theme or on the war theme, we're really keen to kind of collaborate with. Awesome. So, Harriet, PlayStack have really embraced working with charity last year. Do you want to share a bit of what you achieved and how you went about doing it?
Yes, so we've been partnering with War Child on the Armistice campaign, which is obviously around Remembrance Day, 11th of November, so spans a week around that period. We've got two games in particular that we've really pushed Armistice Day with, which is our VR title Dick Wild, which is an arcade shooter in VR. So we've introduced things like Cupid's Love Arrow in that game as a one-off purchase, and then Sniper vs Thieves, which is our mobile game, which is based all around bank heists and wearing masks. So we introduced a lot of Armistice-themed masks. The developers absolutely loved making the content. The players, as you say, loved the content, and that was just a really, really nice initiative all round. And then more recently, we've published Help the Game on behalf of War Child, which was a series of mini games that came out on the back of a big game jam event. So that's been really, really nice as well to work with the guys on that. And yeah, we just want to go from strength to strength and make Armistice Day much more of a calendar event, if you like, for the games industry, because it seems to be the most relevant one.
Yeah, awesome. We were shared loads of images of people playing Snipers versus Thieves with the masks on, and it's really cool to see the community kind of get behind it. It's really good.
I also love that game, by the way.
Thank you.
John Paul, Gameloft also took part in Armistice last year. Why did you choose to take part in Armistice? How did you get involved, and how did it perform for you guys?
Well, I think it was really you threatening us to say if we didn't take part that you would start revealing things about the business we didn't want revealed. It's just, I think all of this is going to feel repetitive, but the developers and everyone at HQ just really want to do more, and we publish games not to take money from people, and it isn't kind of like a smash and grab for cash. We develop games, like most of the people at this event, because we love gaming, and we want to kind of put something in people's hands that is really fun. And if we can then have another benefit from that, which is giving back, then it shows all our players as well what we're in it for, that we're in it for the long haul, we're in it for the player, we're in it for the community, we're in it for the wider space. And yeah, in-app generates a lot of money globally, so why shouldn't we be doing more? And as you say, we've grown how much our players have given through in-app. I think 100% in the 2 years that we've been doing it. So the more it goes on, and the more we were having a conversation the other day, that these things take time to build up momentum. I think it was you saying that, Harriet, that if we can keep that momentum going, we should be doing a lot more.
Yeah, I was saying to Adam, actually, I first went to a talk after the Farmville initiative in 2010, which was after the Haiti earthquake, and I think Zynga raised about 1.5 million with in-app purchases. They had a Haiti fish and various other items that you could buy, and when I listened to the talk, I just really thought it was going to just escalate massively, and that all gaming companies were going to get involved, because it just seemed like such an obvious one. And as I said, that was 2010, so it feels like, it has kind of taken a while to kickstart, and I just think now's the right time.
Anyone else? No? Cool. So Amparo, Social Point have been doing a lot in the charity space, actually probably since 2010 you've been doing quite a lot. But you've taken a slightly different approach to these guys. They usually go down the in-app purchase route. You've actually worked on like community events and things like that in-game. Do you want to share a bit more about that? Some of the charities you've worked with.
Sure. I think that we can group our actions in four. The first one is the one that we have done with War Child, for example, or with some other food programs. That is, we integrate into the game. We, for example, generate a monster of a dragon or something that users can buy, and all the benefits goes towards the charity option. And this is very engagement for the community. The second one is obviously the ones drive by the stores, mostly iOS, like Red or apps for Earth that require a little bit more of product integration. So you need to do in-apps, game events, but also change a little bit the theme of your game to go towards the theme of this event particularly. We also do community events, as you said, fundraising events that are require less work in games because you don't need to do anything in game. You need to do it towards the fundraising page, and the only thing that you need to do is generate noise and drive traffic towards the page. Usually the community, you just need to tell the community, and community will make the job done. And the third one, we work a lot with YouTubers in a regular basis. And we work with them in two different ways related with charity. One is just telling them the charity thing that we are running right now, so they comment them in the video. For example, for the fundraising with World Child, all the YouTubers of December and January have commented in their videos, maybe 15 YouTubers. And also, instead of telling them to talk about our game in particular in the video, sometimes we tell them to talk about a charity options, and then in between mention our game. That has resulted as super profitable for us. For example, we did one with Mr. Beast in December and was super profitable both sides. So yes, all of them results in featurings, active users, community engagement. Everything's good.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, from a charity side, you can never underestimate how important awareness is. So for us, we would love to have tens of millions of people that are engaged with our charity. Obviously, you guys have that with your games, so being able to share that with a charity is super powerful. And I think the YouTuber side's really interesting as well, because YouTubers do so much for charity already. They donate lots of their own money, they do lots of streams and things like that. So can we kind of piggyback off that and start doing some like mobile game, YouTube collaborations on the charity side? I think that would be really interesting. So yeah, thanks for sharing. Cool. And Lisa, you also took kind of a different approach at Wooga for how you supported charity last year. Do you want to talk a bit about help and how you guys took part?
So at Wooga, we don't have a very strict policy around charity. We basically have a lot of people internally who feel like supporting certain causes. So then that's something that that Wooga helps with. And then in this case, we were approached externally by Warchild. So the help app that Harriet mentioned earlier, the game jam, that's something that Wooga took part in, and we made one of the games called Rupert. So for this project, everybody at Wooga was open to take part in this. So we had developer, we had analysts, we had animators, we had game designers who came together and all built this mini game for the help app at Wooga. And next to that, I take care of app monetization at Wooga. So once the game was out at the end of last year, we used our remnant inventory to promote the game to get some extra exposure through the games that we have at Wooga.
Yeah, awesome. Rupert was amazing. It's really, really good fun. You basically play as a elephant in a china shop, and you have to collect vases without smashing anything. So it's really cool. And we're actually exhibiting it at the Victoria and Albert Museum on Friday. So if any of you are in the area, come swing by and take a look, and you can play Rupert in person. So. Cool. And yeah, on the remnant inventory thing, I mean, again, the charities really they're looking to raise awareness as much as they can. So remnant inventory is super valuable to a charity. Try to find one that's a good fit for your game. And yeah, if you're willing to give some inventory up for them, for the charity, it's going to be super beneficial. So That's great. Cool. So, guys, any best practices for how to work with charity from your experience? Maybe Harriet, how have devs responded to doing things?
I think, it's like anything. It's just having enough time factored in, getting it in front of our developer partners as soon as possible, that it's going to be something we want to do, which is why, as we've discussed, focusing on Armistice Day within the games industry seems like the right fit. And, the more games that can be a part of that, obviously, the more players will become aware, and it'll just really start to grow, I think. So from best practice from our side is just getting everybody involved as early as possible so that there's no sort of last-minute surprises, and we can bring as much content into the game as possible to celebrate the event.
Awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah. What she said. It becomes something that the developers themselves really want to do. So there's not really much of a conversation that has to be had about, well, for Gameloft anyway, between HQ and the development teams. They really love taking part in this, and also the Game Jam as well, and putting themselves to the test in creating a game in 7 days and then putting it out there and seeing how it performs. But again, it's about how do we leverage each other's reach as well. Warchild have been incredible about mentioning us externally, and we've tried to do all that to show the partnership, and anything that we can give in terms of inventory to promote these endeavours is also worthwhile as well. It's not going to get out there on its own. We have to promote it. So I'm glad that we can all work together to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely been a trend of publications featuring kind of charity partnerships a bit more. It's definitely a hot topic in the industry. So, like you said, I guess there's a benefit charities can bring in that we can give hopefully some more exposure. We can tell these stories and why we're collaborating to a bigger audience. So. And
also, may I say, Warchild really understand the gaming market, and it is also that understanding that has brought all these people to it. So if you get a phone call from Warchild, take it and have a listen, because they do have a lot of knowledge about it.
Cheers. That will be me calling. So please do. That would be great. Guys, looking ahead to 2019 and beyond, have you got anything exciting coming up when it comes to charity work? Would you like to see any new trends emerging in the charity space? What do you think?
So for us, we don't have anything specific coming up. As I mentioned, it's more starting from internally people who have certain things that they would like to support, and see if Wooga can help supporting it. So not charity specifically, but we do a lot on diversity at Wooga as well. So for example, we two of our developers started Girls Make Games workshop. So this is something that Wooga helps support by offering our office to host the workshops, ordering food for everybody who attends. And another initiative that we started doing is LGBT gamers nights at our office. We started doing this last year for the first time, and apparently it was the first ever hosted kind of event. So we're hosting another one in February. So whoever's in Berlin, feel free to join us there. And basically, if we are approached and anything that is matching to our core business, we are always open to take a look at it and see where we can help. And that's kind of our approach for this year.
Fantastic. Cool. Amparo, yourself?
I can foresee a lot of more charity actions towards, as we commented, in the YouTuber sector. We still don't know the causes, but we will do them for sure, because community get involved. And it is a really big exposure. It's a win-win. Charity wins and we win. So I think that we will focus on this for 2019.
Yeah, great. We would like to see a lot more data in this space. We feel there's not nearly enough yet, and actually as a charity we can't really raise that data, so we kind of turn to you guys to try and prove the impact that this stuff has. So yeah, if you're doing your UA ads, maybe we can look to add a charity message to the end card of your UA ads. We can see how that performs compared to your normal UA ads. We can look at like community in-game events, and we can see, does a charity event have more people taking part than a normal one? What impact does it have on retention and stuff like that? So yeah, we challenge you guys to start doing that.
I think, in lots of other industries or lots of other products that people are purchasing online, people are getting quite used to the idea of rounding up. So, if you get Domino's here, for example, using the Domino's app, then it always asks you at the end if you want to round it up. And there's a lot more companies doing this now. So I think that could be a really interesting thing to look at within games, the idea of rounding up the in-app purchase, for example, and that additional money going to charity. I just think there's lots more things like that we can do that have become kind of the norm in some of the other sectors, but they're still quite new for us within the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Harriet, that is a great idea. Like something so simple as every penny. I mean, if you've got 131 million users around the world that are playing your games, then it's kind of like, we should be doing more. We should be doing this stuff for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And traditional industries choose a charity for a year, for example, and they'll kind of run fundraisers throughout the year, and that hasn't happened as much in the game sector. So, yeah, that might be an area as well.
We're trying to also, I can't mention who we're going to work with, but we're also looking to do more charity work with other charities, and trying to get brands involved as well to add another dynamic to that reach, because they have their own audiences and people that follow them. So brands can get involved and just amplify it even further. So
yeah,
it shouldn't just be about us, it should be about who can we also bring to the party and say your brand supports what we're trying to achieve, and your audience are listening to you as well, so maybe they can have some input to it.
That's it. Awesome. I think we're nearing the end, so does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask the panel? Yep.
Do I have to steal the microphone? Yeah. Sorry, I have to steal one off the microphone. I thought you wanted to take it home as a
I know, I'm going to steal it.
You can have this one, John, for you.
Oh, nice.
I can see you singing with this.
So one of the problems that we ran into when we looked into this a few years ago is the practical aspect of it, particularly with regards to rounding up. Because it sounds like an amazing idea, but all of the APIs that we could or we were using at the time forced us to have very fixed prices and specific things that we were selling. So when we tried to look into the idea of letting a player choose to say, pay an extra €1, 20 euros or whatever for charity, we ran into two problems. One of them is the App Store wouldn't let us because they don't let you just give money. And the other one was we weren't sure how to tackle transparency. Right, because the idea is fantastic, right? Like the idea of selling a fish for earthquake in Haiti, brilliant idea. Game companies aren't brilliantly set up to then kind of display where that money went. It's just not something that we do. We don't have the structure for it. So putting that structure in place was something that was just, like we looked into it and quickly realized it was entirely out of our reach. Does any of you know how you guys tackle this? Is this something you found a solution to?
May I ask where you're from? And your name?
My name is Renaud van Strijdonk. I'm currently working at Paladin in The Hague.
Currently says you're looking to move.
No, but I was...
Yeah. Would anyone like to take that? If not, I can kind of... Yeah, it's a great question. So definitely there's kind of two sides. I guess the platforms kind of need pushing, I think, to try and do a bit more. We understand that they're working on products like this, so it'll be interesting to see if that actually happens this year or not. On the transparency side, like definitely it's something that we should work closely with the charity on. They're able to prove the impact that money has, or that they should be able to, and it's how do you communicate that to the players? So it might be that earlier in the year you announced that each in-app purchase that you sell, you're going to donate £1 to charity, and you communicate that through your community channels, so Twitter, Facebook, etc. And then you work with the charity to kind of prove the impact of that £1, how far can that go? A book for a child for a month, for example. So, there's no exact way of doing it, but I think if you work closely with the charity, you might be able to find a nice way of doing it.
But then I think it's great that you're attempting it anyway. Like, you have to take these first steps for you to even conceive the idea of how to get around this problem. It's great that your company's already thinking, we've tried it didn't work, how do we become more transparent for everyone to show it, and then how do we get the app stores to follow us? And they will do it. Like, the more we all work together on this, thank you, the more we all work together on this, there has to be some momentum and change that comes with it, that if not, the players themselves will start to revolt and they'll start calling for that change because they'll want us to do more. So I think it's amazing that you're already thinking about this and pushing it forward.
Technically, for us, what was easier, it was to generate one item to sell for this purpose. So all the benefits go for this purpose. This technically is what worked for us.
The only solution we could try.
Yeah.
There was one other way Social Point kind of got involved was with their in-game events. For everyone who took part in an event, they donated $1 to charity. So that's a nice way of kind of linking it to the event mechanisms that are already in games. Getting the whole community working together for a purpose. It's a really cool way of doing it as well, beyond the kind of in-app purchase or microtransaction route.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of easier if you build something ad hoc for it.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Cool. Feel free to grab any of these awesome panelists afterwards, and cheers.
Thank you.